Okay. Now we can start. Hi there. This is workshop number two. How to secure AI agent. If you have been creating any kind of AI agent, it's likely the something from reading your Slack to opening the PR, query your database, calling an API that transfer fund, and all of this activity happen based on permission that were assigned only once and forgotten about since. Us our guest today take a different approach, rather focusing on the question of whether or not some people can breathe into the software. He tried to figure out who is allowed to do what and how to ensure that AI agent will stay within its authority. When you look at it this way, you stop asking yourself questions like, can someone separate my from and instead think about what this AI agent can actually accept. Or before we go to the next step, a short reminder before we start. We extend the deadline for all party in your Web2 ID on chain is now to August 23. If you have been working on something but we're not sure if you could meet it by original deadline, you now can. Okay. Just wait a minute. Okay. Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah. Okay. The Nguyen is the founder of the ThemisLabs, a security company focused on autonomous system and AI agent. He holds a PhD in information security from Shoreland University and previously conducted research at CISPA, its publication as ICE, EEE, S&P, and ICMCCS. Yeah. So today his work focused on a simple question. How do we make sure AI can only do what we intend, even when someone is actively trying to manipulate them? Yeah. Cool. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the shape of the problem. A user asks a question. The AI can pick the tool called an MCP server. The MCP server read Slack is open GitHub pull request is update the CRM. Maybe it even trigger payment. That's the seven hop from a question to money moving. The user explicitly approve only the first hop. Everything after that was inframed by the system. And what makes this generally hard to cut is that every single one of the steps look completely reasonable on its own. Nobody would flag any single hop as superior. It's only the whole chain seen together that's right the question. Okay. They are the thing which really disrupt me about the that chain is conviction K. If anything happen to go wrong, then you will always able to find where it went wrong. It could be a bug, it could be an input on something missing chat, but there would always be something to blame. However, it's particular seven hop chain. Every single decision which made alone that's must alone that like could be called reasonable decision to make given happen before that. Is what reasonable to risk that to open the PR on that information and update the CRM based on the PR. Yet, even without any bad decision made, the final result can still be bad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. When the AI application become a security critical system, a chatbot answering question feel pretty low risk, but an agent that can risk like must pull request or moving money feel very different. Where do you think that's like a what change from security perspective?
So I think the question is when does an AI application become a security critical system, right?
Yeah.
And now, if you step back and take a look at chatbot, it's more about the kind of the quality of the information that the chatbot provides you, right? So if a chatbot provides you a incorrect answer or kind of false information, then the consequence is kind of limited. When we move to AI agents, it can take actions. So actions now here mean authority, right? So it can create an impact on real world. So the security posture now changes when AI can affect the real world. When we look at the examples of email code development, database, so if AI agents can read, write, can even analyze your email and make decision, it can create pull requests to merge code, it can access your database, and eventually, this is something that is happening in the blockchain industry already, that AI agents is making or is conducting transactions. So here we see that AI agent now like join the real world and create an impact on the real world. So we are talking about the capability of the AI agents. It's no longer just about the intelligence. Now with this capability, it changes the security model that we are talking about. So in short, once the AI agent can act on your behalf, so we need to ask what kind of permissions the AI agent is allowed to do. And that is the security critical point we need to pay attention to.
Okay, so this putting into the context for me, it is not a question of whether the model itself is smart enough to be dangerous, but rather how far the whole system risks. Then most of this discussion of AI security I have participated in have been focusing on the wrong level. They ask question like, is the model aligned? Can you interpret the prompt as if that's where the expert lie? But you describe a system ha, that's have identity permission tool, MCP server, API, approval process, an an entry scale 14 system that operate regardless of how well behaved the model is SLE. This mod is almost mean having a effectively secure model with an dangerously ins- insecure system. So when people think about AI security, they usually think about the model or the prompt, but an agent also has identity permission tool and MCP server API and upload workflow, whether whether the trust boundary actually shift and where do the team usually get it wrong? What do you think about that?
So yeah, I agree that now these days when we talk about the trust or the security of AI systems, people usually think about the prompt or a model.
Yeah.
That is partially true, but it's just one piece of the picture. The bigger picture is about the capability. So in reality, you have agent identity. Who is that agent? What permissions does that AI agent have? What tools it can use in order to do the task that it has been asked to do? And what kind of MCP servers it access, what kind of APIs it can invoke, I mean, internally or even with other systems, with other AI agents. And it's about the memory of the AI agent. And eventually, it's about the approval workflow. So model or prompt is only one component. It's not the entire picture. But unfortunately, many people, including developers, often think about prompt and model when they think about the security of their AI system. So the core message is, so every single connected tool or MCP server expands drastically the attack surface, the agent's authority. So here we have two things go in parallel. One is the agent's authority capability. The other is the kind of attack surface that has been expanded by receiving those authority, those permissions that you as a human gives to the AI model. So in short, instead of asking the AI agent, is my prompt secure? I would rather ask, what authority does this AI agent has, and what happened if it is like kind of influenced?
Okay. So I want to shift from where the power is sit to how it actually get crossed, because I think the most people mental model of getting hacked does not map into the on does not map onto this at all. And the gap is exactly when I guess most team are exposed without knowing this. Okay. So when when most people picture a security incident, uh, they picture something broken or bot that's led an attacker in a vulnerability that should not have existed. So that's your story about software falling to do what's it was supposed to do. So but what you describing with AI sound almost the opposite side. So the software work exactly as I designed it. So and the attack is convincing the system to make a decision. So it's what never supposes to make. That's much harder harder to think to test for, because you are not looking for your broken function. You are looking for a decision that what technically valid but wrong. Can someone manipulate an agent without hacking it?
I think, yeah, I think yes, absolutely. So that is what is making AI security different, and that is something that really attracts us, attract our team. So with traditional software, you look at software vulnerabilities, and conventional attacks usually try to exploit these vulnerabilities in software. But with AI security, I think it's beyond that. The malicious actors try to influence the decision making process. And if you think of an example, then you would immediately think of the prompt injection. It is the best known example that many people have been talking about. But it's not the only one. It is only a small piece of the entire attack surface. So we have malicious email, poison document, and malicious MCP. Um, why do I mention that? I can give you an example of the story that is happening. So, like researchers around the world have conducted many research, and they found that out there on the internet, there are many traps that have been created by hackers that put bad data, like on purpose. so that when AI agent tries to crawl those data, it learns from the bad input, and later on they can make bad decision. So it's it doesn't really happen immediately, but they sit there with the traps, and then AI agent goes and then learn from the data they get from the real world, and then they make bad decision because they have been learning from the bad input. So the attacker doesn't necessarily hack the model, the software. They try to manipulate the decision. That is the story that has been happening. And so when you develop agents, that is something you should really pay attention to.
Okay, so most security incident involve exploited software, but with AI, we have seen a attacker manipulate decision instead. So
Yeah.
how does that happen, and why is prompt injection only one of the example of a a much bigger class of the problem? What do you think about that?
A question again?
Most security incident involve exploiting software, but with AI, we have seen
Mhm.
a attacker manipulate decision instead. How
So I
the
think, yeah,
how that happen?
I think it happens because the negligence of the developers. And oftentimes you see people brag about how great, how capable their AI agents are, but I barely see anybody, any developer, talk about what kind of safeguard they have for their AI agents. So the brain is great, but if you do not put any safeguard like protection controls in front of the brain, it can do many things that is harmful to the system. So so I think the negligence that developers is currently have on AI agent security is what makes the story happen.
Okay, so we must have a safeguard for the decision, right?
Yeah. So I think it's more about the entire system. It's not just the model. It's not just
Yeah,
the prompt that you use to interact with the model. It's
yeah.
about everything around it. So uh, you put a model there and you interact with it. You allows it to so I'm talking about AI agents, right? You allows it to make decision on behalf of yourself without
Mm.
kind of seeing how well it perform and uh, how it performs under adversarial environment.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the part I think all community need to sit with the boss honestly, because a guardian has turned it into a world that show up on every product head the same way to audit it. There's for smart contract, uh, a package that's supposed to signal safety, whether or not anyone can actually explain why what's it protecting against. And I think the danger is not just that some guardian guardrail are which is the what itself must further and users stop asking question that the question the moment they see it. So everyone say they have a guardrail. What does that actually mean?
Um, First, guardrails are
Yeah.
useful, but they are not defined as a security strategy by themselves. So when you think of guardrails, they prevent the model from using harmful languages, and they helps the model avoid certain requests that is against the policies that has been designed for the model. But the guardrail is not enough. The first question a good security strategy would ask is, what happens if those guardrails fail, because they will fail. And you know what? It has failed. If you look at the most advanced AI companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, the latest models have failed, and that is the guardrails has failed. So when you develop an AI agent, you need to talk, you need to think and develop real controls. Here I'm talking about least privilege, like allows the enough permissions for the AI agent to complete the task. And we need to have policy that you can enforce on the AI agent to only do the expected tasks. And then you need to have like kind of deterministic policy checker to ensure that the behavior is controlled. And finally, eventually, when some kind of high risk actions involved, you need to have human approval. For example, if AI agent conducts transaction and human then need to approve when the stake is high. And you know what? In the past, we don't have these kind of Gen AI technology. Human make mistakes. That is already dangerous. But you know what? AI agents can make mistakes, and the speed that they make mistakes is beyond your imagination. If you make a mistake as a human, you step back and you may think about it, right? But AI agent, it's basically a machine, autonomous agent. They
Yeah.
make mistakes and then they repeat. So maybe until you go, it consumes all your fun in these mistakes. So AI agent can make mistakes, and rat world is not enough. You need to think about kind of controls like security best practices, least privilege, policy enforcement, and then human approval. Good security strategy always assume that the model will eventually make bad decision. Here I'm talking about the guardrails being failed.
Yeah. Okay. So let's make this concern with the thing that have actually happened, because I think the abstraction like decision manipulation learn very differently once there is a real name and a real incident attached to it. Something people can go look up after this call. So we have already seen incident like a colleague and false lead. You may already know about that. That's where a tracker manipulate AI agent without exploiting traditional software vulnerability. So what the Chin incident teaches us about how AI system fall differently from traditional software.
I think when those incidents happened, they teach us a question. They teach us a lessons of how AI systems can fail differently from traditional software.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the software wasn't really hacked. The the software just works as expected, but the AI agent was manipulated. So these existing permissions that human have given the AI agents were abused. So this is a different failure mode, in my opinion. These are not kind of software failure, and these like brings our attention to the matter that AI systems fail differently from traditional software. And if you treat like AI security just like traditional software, you will be end up being hacked. I mean, your AI agents will end up being hacked.
mm. Okay, so last one for me, and I want to make it generously useful, not just cautionary, because I think a lot of founder watching this are going to be a little more nervous about what they what they have built, and nervous without a next step is not that helpful. So let's turn it into the something concern they can actually go do this with. If I ask I guess if I asked you to review my AI agent tomorrow, where would you start?
I think when you ask this question to a general security person, they might have started with a prompt, but I don't start with a prompt. I would rather start with what the agent can do, what kind of identities the AI agent has, and what permissions that it receive, like what it can do, what permission it's allowed to do, and what tools it is using, it can use, and then what are the external entities, systems that the AI agents can interact with. Because if something happens from the other entity, the outside system that impact the agent, then that is something I need to pay attention to. And the important question is, I will assume that it can go wrong. And then what happens when things go wrong, right? So in short, I try to kind of have the authority mapped. Then I see what the AI agent can do, what permissions it has. Then I try to attack it, meaning I would try to push the AI agent beyond the intended authority. This is the boundary that separate from traditional software to AI system. Map the authority first, then test the boundaries. Once we can exceed the boundary, then we are kind of being able to manipulate the AI agent, the decision making process.
Mm. Okay, so I also have my AI agent workflow. So do you have any packaging like the workflow to test my AI agent? So can you say with our community, like
Um,
you just
uh, I think when you have an AI agent, then
yeah.
you should start with what kind of capability your AI agent has. Can it like conduct transaction on chain, like for blockchain applications? If it can, you should be careful. And then you should always assume that the input that your AI agent receives from other components, other software, especially those external systems like on the internet, then you should really sanitize and carefully treat those as a bad input initially.
Okay. So this are already reframed how I think about the 15 in all PP line, and I
Mhm.
imagine it's doing the same for a lot of you. So let's open this up. Drop your I think this is free for our community. So let's open this up. Drop your reversion in and could be to go towards them. I think we have one more question from our community. One AI security participant you think goes from nice to have to default in 2 years. They have one AI security participant. You think goes from nice to have to default in 2 years. What do you think about this?
I think I think we should stop evaluating how capable our AI system is, how great it is in achieving the task. We should start evaluating how those capabilities can be manipulated. How can the AI agents safely exercise the authority that you have given to the AI agents? So this is short, but the core idea is you only give enough permission, I mean capability to the AI agents that it can kind of um, execute a task, and you need to see if it can safely exercise their authority.
Okay. So MCV, we have a question last. MCP server are everywhere now. What is the biggest security risk team overlook?
I would start with the story of mobile applications. So in the past, people install apps like whenever they feel they want to install, and now it happens the same with MCP servers. Developers often, or even like normal people, often treat MCP servers like a plugin. So they install them whenever they think they are useful. But you know what? The They are tools, so they drastically expand the attack surface, just like the other tools that I mentioned in the previous questions. The more tools your AI agents can use, the bigger, the wider the attack surface it exposed to the attackers. So my advice is pretty much simple. You only connect tools to the agent, like image cloud, any kind of other agents in your system. You only connect tools that your agent genuinely needs. So you need to verify who creates, who maintains these plugins, and you only give kind of the minimum permissions it requires. So you don't give everything that it asks. You only give
Yeah.
what is needed for it to perform the task, and
Mhm.
you only install and connect what is needed. You need to think who creates that plugin, that MCP, and who is maintaining them. Is it maintaining at all? It's like inviting someone you don't know into your house and let them freely explore your entire house.
So I will summarize that only install from the trusted source, and also uh, for only install what you need in your application. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much
Okay.
what it is. Yeah.
So another question that if every AI builder remembers just one security rule, what should it be?
um, I think this is pretty interesting question. um, you know that starting like 2 years ago and this year, people talk about how AI replaces human, right? And if AI can replace humans, you should treat AI agent like employees, so not like a tools or libraries. So imagine if you hire someone on their first day going to the office, would you give them every permissions, every capability you have, like access to all the sensitive information, keys, and infrastructure? You don't, right? The same with AI agents. You start with the minimum authority necessary. Then you add approvals for high impact actions. And then it's not the end of the story. You need to continuously verify that these agents behaves as needed. So they respect the boundary and they cannot be manipulated. But that is something that you have to constantly monitor. So you cannot just what it says. You have to monitor what it does and how it behaves when like the pressure is in when in the like adversarial environment. Just treat
Okay.
AI agent as a human, as an
Yeah.
employee.
Okay. So I already have built overflow like that. I have a multiple AI agent and each agent have identity. But the risk right now that's each AI agent working on the separate environment like AI agent will have a sandbox in the server. Yeah. Uh, so I think I will apply
Yeah, good strategy.
your answer into my workflow.
Yeah.
So let's wait a few about 1 few seconds to okay. It seems don't have any question more. So many things good for all
Mhm.
of that. One of the lesson I am learning is it that is not about the fixing the bug when securing your AI agent, but knowing what exactly is it allow it to check other identity and permission, and always asking yourself whether you really need the permission you granted in the past. So for all community, that's which reminder this session information, uh, not a sufficient for an actual security review of your own system. If you build in an agent that just use a phone, file, or infrastructure, this is exactly the kind of review work budget getting for early. And just a final note about using your Web2 ID to on-chain event has been extended until August 23. So if you have some business problem you like to solve on-chain, or you have some agent-related solution to it, you have a chance to resend it to CPF group. Here is the link, the reason. Here is link in the description. Thank you everyone. Talk to you next time. Cảm ơn anh
Thank
Tường.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.